everybody, and welcome. So, today I'm reacting to Foodie Beauty's newest mukbang called Indian Food Mukbang. It's tandoori chicken and butter masala. So, good morning to everybody. It's morning for me. It's not even 7 in the morning, but I slept a good portion of yesterday away. I was exhausted. So I'm getting up rather early and just trying to catch up to all things Foodie Beauty. So what did she do while I was asleep? Well, she did a mukbang, and I've got so many thoughts on it. We're going to go over the mukbang video, which isn't long. It's about less than 90 minutes long. Some stuff that I found on Twitter. Also some other stuff that I wanted to add to that. So I watched the mukbang. I wanted to get a peek at it. Not a big fan of her eating. You guys know that. But just not so much interested in what she was eating, more interested in what she had to say. I got to tell y'all, I'm someone that I had a problem with food, not to the extreme that Foodie has a problem with food. Same problem, different level. And I'm sitting here watching Foodie. I watched her in this mukbang, and I just kept shaking my head. I just kept shaking my head. Foodie just isn't getting it. She really is not getting it. Or if she is, she's just not responding to the truth. To the truth that if you have a problem, you don't get rid of the problem by replacing it with another problem. If you're an addict, and she is, and I am too, because even if you're in recovery, you are still an addict and you'll always be an addict. You can't switch out addictions. You can't say, oh, I'm addicted to this right now, so let me just find something else and cover it up or try to escape from it, because then you have two addictions rather than one. I'm going to give my opinion here. I think Foodie is in Kuwait. She is absolutely lonely and miserable. And just as she's eaten her feelings and her misery in the past, she's doing it again. When she was in Canada, she could partake not only in food, but certain party favors as well. Being in Kuwait, she can't indulge in the party favors like she used to. So the only thing that she can turn to is food. So she's just going full throttle with it, just putting her foot to the gas pedal. Foodie, you can't do that to yourself. I mean, the body can only put up with so much, and your body is put up with a lot. Why are you stressing it out further? You can't even use the defense of, this is how I make my money. This is how I make my living on YouTube. You can't really use that as a defense because the money just isn't there like it used to be. You can't even come to the reactors or your own audience or the audience of the reaction channels and say, yes, I'm on YouTube doing this to make money and I'm making a lot of it, because you're not making a lot of it. And I got proof. Here, would you like to see the proof? I'll bring it. I'll bring the receipts. Let me pull something up for y'all. I'd like to show her something, and I would like to show all of you something. So let's just go to a site called Playboard. Now, Playboard, it functions much in the way that a website called Social Blade does. It logs in your views, super chats, all of that. Now, I remember back in the day when Foodie was in her heyday and she was doing the live streams, and she would make hundreds of dollars in super chats a day. And she would get membership signups like nobody's business. And that's why she had the attitude of, if I lose some beezers, it doesn't matter because there's going to be more signing up directly behind them. And when all that money was coming in, she was at her most arrogant. She was at her most cocky and at her most rude. But y'all take a look. Look at what the super chats look like these days. So she made $12 in super chats yesterday. Something else to add to that. When you're on YouTube and you have a monetized channel, YouTube takes 30% of whatever it is you receive, whether it's 30% revenue off of your views or 30% of your super chats, super stickers. They take nearly half of what you make. So that $12, she doesn't even give it 100% of that. I don't know what 30% of $12 is, but it's not much. Let's go down here to the bottom. Playboard might be off a little bit because she did change her handle name. And when that happens, it takes Playboard and Social Blade a little bit to catch up. You know, it kind of confuses the system. So let's see. You got $30, $23, 19, 8, 21, 15, 12. You're not making much, Foodie. And we all know that you can eat your weight in food every day. You're eating more than what you're making in super chats. If you're spending well over $100 a day in food, you're not even making that in super chats to compensate yourself back for that. There's no profit here. You're just going on live and making money through super chats just to keep yourself fed, but you're not making headway. You're just barely keeping yourself above water. So y'all are seeing Playboard right there. Just so anybody else who wants to look at it, it is playboard.co. If you want to take a look at Social Blade, it's socialblade.com or .net. I'm not sure. But those are her stats right now. Okay. So you can't say you're making a lot of money, Foodie, because you're not. You're not slowing down with your eating. The portions are as big, if not bigger, than they ever were. So what's it all for? You're trying to attract the feeder crowd. They've moved on to other people, to true mukbang channels where there's no drama, there's no fighting, there's no mention of anything else that might be toxic. People that are interested in mukbangs, they just want the mukbangs. But not only that, they want them done well. They want to see tasty, colorful meals. It's not about over-exaggerated portions that make no sense, or putting a bunch of rice in a huge serving plate. It's about presenting food that other people would look at and say, wow, that looks great. I'd like to eat that too. That's not what you're doing. You're not caring about the presentation or the background or anything. You're just buying a meal, buying a very expensive meal, putting it on a table with plastic on it and calling it a day. And you're wondering why your channel is not prosperous right now. Well, look at what other people do and look at what you're doing. You're just basically keeping your head above water. So that was Playboard. Let's see what we got here. I'd like to show you guys something. Hold on one moment. I'm flipping through between these different tabs because I'm coming to the table with all kinds of notes. I can't play this video, but Perfectly Imperfect, I believe she has another channel called SANSACOOKS. If I'm mistaken, Perfectly Imperfect, please excuse me. I'm not sure if it's you, although that does look like your icon. This was a great video, by the way. If this is you, Perfectly Imperfect, great video, great breakdown video. I watched it. I gave it a thumbs up. So Foodie told us that it's cheaper to eat in Kuwait. I already knew that was not the case because the currency over in Kuwait is the Kuwaiti dinar. She has the Canadian dollar, which is not worth very much over in Kuwait. The value of the Canadian dollar is greatly reduced over in that country. But SANSACOOKS did a great breakdown of how much she was spending per day. And the end result was Foodie is spending as much, if not more, in food in Kuwait as she did in Canada. There's going to be a clip on Twitter that I'm going to play for you where Foodie talks about when she was in Canada that she spent $3,000 in food a month. That's an insane amount, y'all. That's ridiculous. Who needs to spend $3,000 a month in food? But that's what she was doing. $3,000. Well, in this video, you'll see that she spends about that much a month in food. So it's not cheaper, Foodie. It's just as expensive, if not more. You might be spending more than $3,000 because you got to figure in all the junk food that you eat on top of the fast foods. You got to figure in maybe trips to Starbucks and the sodas and all the little extras that, go into the things that you consume. I'm going to leave a link for SANSACOOKS video in the video description. I encourage everyone on my channel to go check out the video, give it a like, and leave a comment because it was a really, really well done video. But Foodie, if your argument for being in Kuwait is the food is cheaper here, the living is cheaper here, no, it's not. If you ate smaller portions, if you ate healthy food, if you weren't ordering so much takeout, yes, it might be cheaper. But you haven't slowed down with your eating. If anything, you've speeded up. So let's just get out of that tab. Okay, where else are we going? All right. Where am I? It's early in the morning. I'm still trying to find my brain cells. They ran off and they ran away from me. All right, little palate cleanser before we get into Foodie's main mukbang. How about we go to Twitter? Because there's some cool stuff on there, some funny stuff. Y'all are going to laugh this morning. I want to make you laugh. So there's my Twitter at Wild Girl Sarah. So this is how I found out about the video from Perfectly Imperfect. And again, I will leave a link for it in the description. You guys can check it out for yourself. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you like. All right, this is from Massimo. Something for all of the artistic, creative people in my audience. So this gentleman takes tin cans, and by pressing on them in a pattern, he makes all these different beautiful artistic patterns all over them. Just, that's amazing. The patience that it takes for that, amazing. Simple yet exquisite. This is funny. This is from Vegan. So these ladies are trying to do yoga, and here is a flamingo saying, I want to do yoga with you. Look, I can do downward flamingo. Can I join your class? And the lady's just cracking up. I'd be cracking up too. It's like I'm just trying to do my yoga, and here comes a flamingo just making me look bad. Flamingos do a little dance, doing this version of Happy Feet. That's hilarious. Okay, this is from View. I can't say the last part of the name, but y'all take a look at that boat on the bottom left. It's shaped like a violin. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous boat. Now, I was this years old today when I saw this. I'm like, I never knew you could do that. Why anybody tell me about this trick? Instead of putting the cake on a plate, you can put it in a glass. Why was I not informed that this could happen? It's a neat way to go about it. Instead of washing a bunch of plates, you can just wash a bunch of glasses. How about that? Nice. From the vegan. This is from Vegan, and he says, what happens when you have heated tile flooring? I can confirm absolutely that cats love anywhere warm. My cat Booger, if I have out a space heater If there's a fireplace, if there's a warm floor, she will stretch out on it. The cats love heat. If you got your fireplace going, you got on a space heater, they will curl up right in front of it and not move. So cats doing the cat thing. That's funny. They're pasted to the floor. Florida Salt and Sass says, so now you are a blank Muslim. You are blank to attention and food still. It isn't gluttony a no-no in Islam. Yeah, gluttony is frowned upon. The funny thing with Foodie and her mukbang videos, when she does a live stream, like she'll talk for hours, but these mukbangs, I don't know why, but it's like she puts herself on a timer and she has to eat as quickly as possible. I don't know why that is. There's nobody else in the room. I don't see anybody putting her on a clock. So I don't know why she feels she has to eat as quickly as possible. I know that when you sit down to eat, that the moment you start eating, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for your brain and your stomach to catch up to each other, because the stomach sends a chemical signal to your brain to let you know you're full. I don't know if she's eating in a hurry to eat as much as possible before she gets that feeling. That could be the reason. But Foodie, you don't need to do this. You don't need to eat excessively. All it's going to do is make you feel ill. Okay, now this is the clip that I wanted to include that goes along with the video that I'm going to link in a description about her eating. So Lilu says 3K a month. Now that's the fattest crap I've heard. Seriously, that's some people's whole monthly paycheck. And this python is blowing that much on crap food. She's going to crap out 20 minutes later. Hidden Truth says Foodie Beauty, she says it cost her $3,000 a month on fast food alone. But in Kuwait, it's cheaper to get fast food than home cooked, $400 a month. Who seriously eats 3K on fast food? So let's play the clip from Chantal.
Honestly, it's like so much tastier. For rice, for rice and chicken, it's cheaper to just order it when it comes with everything: a drink, salad, rice that's perfectly made, meat that's perfectly grilled. And I do cook once in a while, maybe like once a week or something.
Okay, that's important that she said that. So Foodie says she cooks once a week. And I'm sure she's not cooking multiple meals during that one day a week. So one day a week, you might cook one meal, maybe two meals. So that means 6 days a week, every week, you're ordering takeout. And you don't order the small portions, you order the bigger portions. So how much cheaper is it? You'll be spending less money on takeout if you did less takeout and more home cooked stuff. But you have said you don't like to cook. So how are you saving money? I think you like the convenience of takeout. You like somebody bringing you food and making the food for you. You're not about that life of cooking your own food. It's just, there's a lot of things you got to go through. Although if you had a Instapot or an air fryer, those are simple. They're easy. And you can make awesome food in those. But 6 days a week, takeout Foodie, and I'm sure you're ordering takeout 2 or 3 times a day for those 6 days. No, ma'am, not cheap, not good for you.
Mostly, I don't. Okay, for suppers we order, but for
And she keeps saying we. She keeps using the plural word we. Although she lives there alone, Salah really doesn't live there. He's not there much. So why does she keep saying we? Is it to make it seem like she's ordering for two people? No, Foodie, you're ordering for yourself. You're ordering all that food for yourself because you can't do small portions. You live there alone, So when you order food, it's strictly for you. On top of that, you are not about that life of sharing your food with people. You have food aggression. You don't want to share your food. Those big portions aren't for somebody else, it's strictly for you.
Like, for example, if I wanted to order out every single day in Canada, it would cost me like $3,000, like probably about $2,500 to $3,000 a month on takeout food.
And remember what I said, you got to figure in that it's more than 3,000 a month with her because okay, so it might be 3,000 for the fast food. What about all the money she spent on Starbucks every single day? And I saw many occasions where she would buy not just one drink, but two at a time. Then, of course, there was the dispensary bill, like all the green that she was consuming, and she consumed a lot of that also, plus all the various junk food. She's got a sweet tooth. We saw not too long ago that haul of 68 candy bars. So, fast food plus soda plus various other junk food plus Starbucks coffee. I mean, it's expensive to feed Chantal.
Now here, if we ordered out every single day, it would only cost like $400. Like the
You see how quickly she came up with that amount? She knows exactly how much she's spending. Excuse me. Doggone throat. That should tell you how frequently she's ordering takeout because she knew exactly how much it cost. Oh, it's $400 a day. She just said that without even thinking about it because she knows it's expensive. She knows how much it costs. Something else that just came to mind, y'all. Didn't she say that Salah pays for everything? So if he pays for everything, how would she know how much it costs to buy takeout? It's because she's paying for it. I love how she tells on herself.
equivalent of $400. Honestly, it's like so much tastier.
$3,000 a month in food. Wow. That's just too much. Oh, here is another one of Chantal's sock accounts. Halal Cutie. So she's got a bunch of socks. She's got more socks than she has shoes. So what do we there's Foodie Beauty, what she doesn't post as herself, she posts as other people. You've got Foodie Beauty, you've got Halal Cutie, you've got just another halal doll, and there's like 4 or 5 more that have been exposed. And she keeps getting exposed for these sock accounts, but she doesn't care because for her it's all about let me just get my engagement up. Let me just get people to engage with me. Like she's trying to trick people to give her engagement. Now, I've said this before. Please just let me say it again. If you're someone and you want to send a silent message to Chantal, don't give her what she wants. Absolutely no engagement. If you got something to say about Chantal, pick a reaction channel, anyone you like. It could be mine, it could be somebody else. Leave a comment for her on somebody else's channel. Give them the engagement, not her. Because she's looking for engagement that helps her channel. So no matter how mad she makes you, no matter how irritated you are, don't give her what she wants because she is really, really fishing for engagement. Sarah Abbey says, so Salah will only pick up a certain amount of food, which is what's in the takeout boxes, and clearly not enough for Chantal. So now she's making 3 pounds of rice to add to each meal because Salah refuses to bring her the ridiculous amount of food, and she's happily married, guys. I'm going to just go out on a limb. I'm just going to take a guess here. I think she made that huge, ridiculous amount of rice to shock people because that's what her content is. It's about shocking people. She knows that that amount of rice is ridiculous. And that's exactly why she did it. She knew people would talk about it. She knew people would instantly spot that. It's not about her being so hungry that she could eat it all. She just wanted people to watch her mukbangs and have the reaction channels, watch them and see that ridiculous amount of rice just sticking out like a sore thumb and talk about it for days, which would bring engagement to her channel. I'll give you guys a little spoiler. I watched the video. She did not eat that entire thing of rice. So one thing I hate, y'all, is food waste. And if she made all that rice just to throw it away, that's just awful. Okay, so this is from Shenanigans. Shenanigans says, when your sock accounts start talking to each other, it's time to log off. So here is one of Chantal's socks. Somebody says, yum, a healthy chicken and rice meal. And here's another one of her socks. So you got one sock talking to another sock. Chantal, meet Chantal again. God. The ridiculousness of it all. Her audience, I guess, talking to her isn't enough anymore. She's got to talk to herself in the comments. Okay, something pretty for everybody from Aesthetics. 2,000-year-old Roman mosaic on the bank of the river in Turkey. Wow, that's gorgeous. And I think that was hidden beneath the water. The workmanship after all that time, and it still shines through. Beautiful. Another one from Shenanigans saying, be on the lookout for this possible Chantal sock account. They're going hard for Foodie in her comments, and she only joined 2 hours ago. So another sock. Foodie, just give it up. Just give it up. Stop making these stupid socks. Because every time you make one, you out yourself. What is the point of these socks? Just reply as yourself. Or is the thinking that if I reply as myself, the engagement won't count? So if I make different socks, those will count? Maybe that's it. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it for the stuff on Twitter. So let me just close that out real quick. Okay, so we're gonna get into the mukbang. Before we do, though, words. My words are missing today. Let's get into the comments because Foodie, I would like to show you that some of the things the reaction channels say, it's not hateful. You like to call us haters. Anybody who has anything to say that goes against what you're saying and what you're feeling, you look at that as hate. But if lots of people are saying similar things, maybe it's not about hate. It's about other people just telling the truth and you don't want to hear it. So let's just go to your uncomment section on your video. And remember, these are not reaction channels leaving these comments. These are people on your channel. And maybe you should listen to the things they have to say. Okay, Shannon D, I smell the sarcasm in this comment saying, Salah must really love you to drop off this much food for you. It is so sweet that he loves you no matter how much weight you gain. It is so precious that if he worried about your health from being morbidly obese, he hides it so well. Most husbands would, of course, want their wives to be healthy, especially if they are planning a future with them that includes a lot of traveling and going places. They wouldn't want to worry about their wife having mobility issues. I mean, if he's planning a future with you, that is, It almost seems like he's happy with you sitting in the windowless room on the blue couch, eating yourself to death. Nah, I'm just playing, girl. I'm sure he is planning a future with you full of traveling and adventures. I'm sure he doesn't mind if he has to help you walk and stuff. I think he will continue to encourage the path you're on because he loves you, of course. Yes, that is exactly why. Love this for you, Foodie. Enjoy every second of it. The sarcasm was strong with this one. I smelled it from here. I said that in my other react, though. She says that Salah loves her so very much, but how could you be a husband to a wife? Seeing them hurt themselves with food and just stay silent. Anybody who cares about another person, you see them hurting themselves, you're going to speak up and say something. You're not going to stay quiet and be complicit. No. Ninja Monkey says, from addict to Muslim, you just transferred addictions from drugs back to food. You are still an addict. Yes. Even if Foodie Beauty got her food problem under control, she's still an addict. I've been in recovery with my food problem for the longest, but technically I'm still an addict, and I will always be, because the temptation to go overboard again will always be there. The only difference between recovery and non-recovery is you're on the healthy side of the fence, not the unhealthy side. Foodie's got different addictions, and the only thing keeping her away from some of them is the fact that she can't get to them. But the one thing she does have a problem with and she can't get to, she's going overboard with. Absolutely overboard. So you're still an addict, Foodie. And one of your addictions is ragingly active, and you need to slow it down. Marcy Elizabeth says, I hope you are sharing this with Salah. There really needs to be a legal intervention program for people with EDs. This looks fantastic, by the way. I love Indian food. So on one side, you're saying that there needs to be legal intervention for people like Foodie, but then you're praising the food. You know what that's going to do? It's going to encourage her to eat more. Braving the Hallway says, there is no way Salah isn't ashamed of this. I don't think he feels shame. I think he's emotionally, mentally checked out. He has no emotional ties to Foodie. He's not emotionally involved with her. He's just indifferent. He's taken the attitude of, this is what she wants to do, and I can't stop her. And this is how she's making her money, and I get the money sometimes, and this is how she's paying for the meal. So I just have to let her do what she wants to do. I mean, truly, Foodie has a problem. And nothing and no one is going to stop her from doing what she wants to do. Her problem with food is it's over her head, and it's over his head too. He physically cannot stop her from eating. Impossible. Let's see. Moon says, it's sickening how excited you get when food is involved. That's because that's the only substance that she can legally do in Kuwait. If she were in Canada, she could do others. But since it's the only one she's got left, she's just going for it. Crystal says, if you are married, you would be enjoying a dinner with him, not alone all the time. Right. You're married. Shouldn't you be eating with your spouse? Shouldn't the two of you be sharing a meal? But you're not, Foodie. You're in your bedroom eating alone. And Salah really does not like eating with you. He doesn't like sharing a meal with you. Even though you guys have known each other for several months, even after several months, you guys can't make conversation with each other. Sit down, have a meal, and while you're having the meal, talk, connect, all that stuff. You're sequestered in your bedroom just making a video for YouTube. Moon says she's really just doing exactly what she did in Canada, just a different location. He locks her in a room, gives them endless amounts of food to make money so he can do God knows what with it. She's okay with it though. She put herself in this position. She decided to go to Kuwait and she set all this up. So, this is one of those things where you want to have sympathy for somebody, but you really can't. How can you have sympathy for somebody that willingly, knowingly, and eagerly walked into a situation and set something up with somebody and they could get themselves out anytime they want, but they continue to go on with it? I can't. I have no sympathy for Foodie. It's disturbing, like her eating is disturbing, but as disturbing as it is, I don't have sympathy for her. This is what she wants. This is what she asked for. This is what she paid for, and she got it. Sarah Jane says, this is disturbing. It's like watching a derailed train and waiting for the crash. If Chantal wasn't such a vile person, I feel bad for her. As much as I can't stand her, I wouldn't wish any harm against her. I don't understand how Salah can sit back and watch her eat herself to death when he supposedly loves her. He said he wanted her to lose weight so she could live longer. He said she needed to go on a diet to get healthier when she first went to Kuwait. What happened? Did Salah just give up because he doesn't genuinely care what she eats or how much she eats as long as she's making money? It's so crazy. Well, I think we all know that Chantal has a temper. And she will throw a temper tantrum like nobody's business when she doesn't get her way. So if she is a person and she's got a severe problem and obsession with food, if somebody tries to tell her no, that she can't have food, can you imagine the temper tantrum that she throws off camera, the yelling and the screaming and the whatnot? When you're dealing with somebody like that, if they are not in a position where they're going to get help and therapy and get that under control, Salah has to deal with her temper and her tantrums, and just to keep her somewhat happy, to keep her quiet, to keep her content, he'll just go, here, just take some food. Don't yell, don't scream, don't give me any attitude. Just do what you want to do. She's not a toddler, she's an adult, and she's going to do what she wants to do. Siren Song says, it seems the more lonely she gets, the more intense the B moments get. Her whole life has become locked up in a room alone with food. She's not married and she's lost everything. That's what she wanted. She literally paid for this. Morbidly Obese said, you should do a story time about some of the fun times you've had with Salah's friends and family. I'm sure you spend a lot of time with them, and it would be great to hear some stories about your life away from YouTube. No need to show any faces. Well, that's the thing. I don't think she spends time around his friends and family. That's why she's stuck to just talking about things that happened in her past. There's nothing new to report. There's nothing happy to report. She's miserable. That's why she keeps going in circles and sounding like a broken record and talking about things from like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago. She just keeps recycling the same stuff back over and over again. All right, so you guys get the gist. That's, you guys see the gist of the comments. Nobody is praising her for doing this, nor should they. This is entirely too much. But let's cover a little bit of the mukbang. I'm scrolling past a lot of the crunching sounds, the eating sounds, where she's not really talking. We're starting in at right here where she starts to talk about the Cuba trip again. So let's go.
Tell you a bit about that. A lot of you have been following me for a long time. So you already know. So last April, I think closer to the beginning though. My birthday is like March.
You know, I think one of the reasons why Chantal likes to do story times while she's eating is while she's eating, while she's taking those bites, I think at the same time that she's eating, she's thinking about what she's saying and making sure she doesn't say too much, that she doesn't say a lie that she gets caught in. You know, it buys her time to just think about what she's saying to the audience because she knows the reaction community. We're all detectives over here. You know, the devil's in the details and we're always looking for the devil. So she's thinking about the details and what she's sharing and what people are going to research.
28th. So I decided to treat myself on a trip to Cuba last April.
You know, that trip really wasn't so much of a treat. It was more about her showing people that she was actually going to go somewhere. Like everybody was saying, you're never going to go to Cuba, Foodie. Never. And we said that because of all the different times that she claimed she was going to go somewhere and do something, and she never did. Y'all remember her talking about the weekend concert? How long did she talk about that? Saying, I'm going to go see the weekend. I'm going to go see him in concert. And it went from, I'm going to get the VIP package and I'm going to meet the weekend and take some pictures with him. And then that got downgraded to, I'm going to get the front row seats. And then that got downgraded to just the basic seats. And then she got the audacity with the money that she was making on YouTube. She had the audacity to come to her people and say, can y'all buy me a seat? And then the idea was scrapped altogether. And before that, we heard about Eurobees. Remember that? I'm going to go to Europe, blah, blah, blah. But she never went. So, of course, because of her track record, everybody's like, you're not going to go. You never go anywhere. So that trip to Cuba, it wasn't so much about, I need to get away. I need to turn over a new leaf. I need to start over. I need a fresh perspective. It was about showing the haters. And what a shame, because you could have done all that, Foodie. You could have gone on your Cuba trip and gotten your head together. But while you were in Cuba, first of all, you didn't see much of Cuba. You stayed at the resort and you either stayed in your room or you were parked your big butt next to the buffet and you wouldn't leave. And you were drinking and acting all the way the fool. We saw it, including that wonderful Cuba Rage, where you had your mask completely off. And you showed us all the ugly that was inside of you, especially that little comment about coming online and you will manipulate the F out of people and then come online the next day and be sweet as pie and everybody will eat it up. You weren't lying when you said that. You were truthful. You were so truthful. That was the most truthful I've ever seen you be. But you showed us all your ugly during that trip, and that's why people still talk about it. Because truthful moments with you are extremely rare. So when we get them, we treasure them, we talk about them. But it's a shame that that trip was just a complete mess. And you haven't stopped being a mess since.
I was trying to also escape like emotional turmoil from being in a abusive relationship.
Y'all already know how I feel about that. And I hate repeating myself. I really do. But the reason why I repeat myself is because Foodie repeats herself. She keeps bringing up the same topics over and over, over and over and over again. Let me just be brief. I'm not going to go on and on about things. I'm not going to climb on a soapbox, even though there's a part of me that wants to. I don't think Foodie was in a abusive relationship. I think what we have here, folks, is two people, Nader and Chantal, two scammers, two grifters, two awful, evil people that locked horns for over a year, competing for control over who had the most control of the other. She looked at him and said, he's a loser. He's stupid. I can take advantage of him in so many ways. And he looked at her and thought the same thing. And they underestimated each other. And we had all that drama. But her trying to paint this picture of, I was so hurt. I did nothing wrong. Screw you, Foodie. Screw you. Every moment that you spent with Nader, you literally chose to do so. He didn't have a car. He couldn't drive to you, couldn't visit you. You had to go to him. And at any time, you could have cut that off. You always had a choice. You kept making the wrong choices. You did it because your obsession with him and because he was part of your content. And when something becomes part of your content, and if it's making money, you're not going to let it go. So there's that. But I really hate you trying to paint this narrative. I was so abused. No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
And I thought it would be good content, you know. And doing the whole independent woman thing.
See, that's the problem. You were cosplaying being an independent woman and not actually being one.
So I went to Cuba alone. Despite my anxieties of traveling as a fat person.
You know, I have to question your anxieties because long ago, you drove from Canada across the border to the United States for fast food. Now, if you had anxieties about traveling, would you be able to do that? Because I know that there are people in the world that have anxieties about leaving the house and traveling. But if you had true anxieties, would you be able to do such a thing? And how do those anxieties play into all those trips you made to see Nader in Montreal? Wouldn't your anxieties, if you have them, kind of prevent you from doing that? Just a question.
This chicken is the bomb. I drank a lot of alcohol and said some really stupid things. And did some stupid things. And then for the year, most of the year after that, I would spend my time getting high,
and seeing Nader, because even after you came home from the Cuba trip, you were still seeing him. And we saw the text where while you were in Cuba, you and he were still talking. And you were telling him exactly what you were going to say, that you were going to talk about him and blah, blah, blah. And he was actually encouraging you. You guys were still in cahoots then. So all that fighting, all that drama over Nader in Cuba, that was all phony. You guys were still talking.
You know, just a lot of haram things.
And this isn't, gluttony is frowned upon where you are, yet you keep being gluttonous. And yet any respect for your new faith, you wouldn't be doing this on camera. You wouldn't be doing this, period. But you make up your own rules about things.
As for how I dressed, oh man, barely. So as you can see, my life is very different now.
Not really. Just because you changed your style of clothing does not mean you become a different person. When are you going to learn that trying to escape from something does not solve something? It's only when you deal with it that the problem might go away. When you face it head on, you deal with it, then the problem has a chance to be solved. But you're all about escaping from reality, escaping from things that might be wrong. Escaping and running away does not make anything better. You're escaping right now. You're escaping through the food. And nobody was ever made better by using an outside form to escape to.
Oh, that's spicy. When I was in Cuba, I had an emotional breakdown. And I had like no substances that I used for comfort with me, like just alcohol. And then Cuba, I became more connected to God.
That's not true. I'm confused. Y'all in the audience, help me. Okay, how do you become connected to God when you're somewhere and you are intoxicated? How's that connect you to God? You were out of control, Foodie. You were angry. You were drunk. So how are you getting closer to God being that way? Even after you came home from Cuba, you were still acting outrageously, being outrageous. Your trip to Cuba did not show that you were enlightened or getting closer to anything spiritual. You came home exactly the same as you were before you left.
The beautiful scenery, the beaches, like it was just hard not to appreciate that subhanallah, you know?
That's the shame of it. You were in Cuba and you barely saw anything beautiful outside of your hotel room. You went there to relax, to escape, turn over a new leaf, whatever you call it. And even in that beautiful location, when there was so much to do and so much to experience and, reboot yourself, what did you do? Even in Cuba, you did the same thing that you're doing right now, you stayed holed up in a room or holed up somewhere eating rather than enjoy the beaches and take a walk and go see something different, you keep sequestering yourself wherever you are. When you were in Canada, you stayed in your house, or you went to the crack house when you were seeing Nader. You're in Kuwait. You've been in Kuwait for how long? What, 6 months? And the only time you go out of the house is with Salah. And you hate it. You hate going outside. You hate the possibility of people seeing you. You hate the walking around. So you sit in a room and eat all day, which is not helping your health at all. You basically put yourself in a hamster cage wherever you go. And you're talking about traveling, but it's not so much traveling you're going to do, it's just finding new locations to find a room to sit in to eat. And I'm not being mean saying that, y'all. It's just, it is what it is. With her lack of mobility and not changing that, she walks, what, a minute or two, and then she gets out of breath and she has to sit down. I mean, how can you really enjoy traveling that way? You really, really can't.
So, fast forwarding, I went through a lot of things.
No, you didn't go through a lot of things. You put yourself through a lot of things by choice. Nobody puts you through anything. Every kind of suffering or hurt that you've experienced the last few years, it was by choice. You invited it into your life by the overeating, the excessive eating, the problem with the food. You invited a lot of your health problems that you're currently dealing with right now. By involving Nader into your life, you invited the party favors and everything that happened with that. There's a lot of things you open the door and say, come on in, rather than shutting the door and saying, what can I do better?
My life was a mess.
Still is.
Literally. I was not taking care of myself properly.
That hasn't changed.
At all.
What has changed about Foodie's life? She went from being in Canada, staying in a room all day, eating, being high, having Pete's go get the food from the front door. She would occasionally leave to go to Starbucks and go get her nashies, to moving to Kuwait. And she leaves the house only to film footage. She's not taking any personal private time to enjoy things off camera. But Salah is essentially around to be on camera with her as eye candy every once in a while, go get her food. She found another version of Pete's to assist her in things. Her life is not different. There's only one exception. In Kuwait, she cannot get some of the party favors that she could in Canada. If she could, I'm sure she would. But since she can't, she's indulging in the one substance that she's legally allowed. And I'll tell you what, Foodie, because you are doing that one thing and doing a lot of it, you put on a lot of weight. A lot. You need to slow down, mama. You're 5 feet tall. There's only so much your body can handle. That loneliness, that boredom, the inner frustration, the self-loathing, the self-hate, it's making you eat more. You're an emotional eater. You said that. I believe it. I believe you are an emotional eater. I believe you eat your feelings. I believe you eat your anger, your sadness, your depression. Like, being in Kuwait has not been good for you. I don't care what you say. You're not interested in getting closer to God or anything spiritual. You're interested in being closer to the plate in front of you. And that's not helping you at all.
So I moved.
Now, I'm curious, what's with all these jump cuts? Why are there so many jump cuts in this small video? I don't understand. It's not like she has to edit down like a 3-hour video into a 16-minute video.
To the Middle East. I got married to my wonderful, amazing, beautiful husband.
If he's so amazing, why are you eating like nobody's business? If you're an emotional eater and he makes you happy and you're in a place that makes you happy, why are you going so gung-ho on the food? That doesn't make sense, Foodie. I would think that if you were happier, you'd eat less. But if anything, you're eating more. So the math ain't mathin'. Where you should be subtracting the food, you're adding more food. So you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever words the audience you want them to believe, but your actions are not backing up your words.
If you want to see us do stuff, we have a couples channel called Salah and Chantal. And I became Muslim. I reverted back to Islam, to Allah. And my life is very different.
No, it ain't.
You know, a lot of people will argue that because my eating habits are not, they are different.
It's the same. How is it different?
I'm eating a lot in this mukbang, yes, but
Even without the mukbangs, you're eating too much.
you know, I used to hide pizza boxes in my closet, so I don't do that anymore.
No, because when you were living with BB, because he wasn't aware you had a problem with food, you knew you had a problem. If you didn't know, you would have been hiding it. But you hide something when you know it's wrong, when you know that there's a problem. At that time, you had a sense of shame and embarrassment about what was going on. And you knew that BB did not have the same issue, so you hid it from him. You were living with somebody and you hid it from them until they found out. And BB, he did what he could. He tried to get you to eat healthier. He tried to get you a gym membership. Is this sounding familiar? BB tried to help you with the eating by saying, eat healthy, get a gym membership. Nader even tried to eat healthy and do some walking. You didn't want anything to do with it. Now here's Salah. Salah wants you to eat healthy. He wants you to do some walking. You don't want nothing to do with that. So 3 men that we know of in your life have tried to help you, and it hasn't worked. because you don't want help. You want to continue exploiting your hurt. You want to continue hurting yourself. Nobody can stop you, foodie. The first person that has to help the addict is the addict. You have to reach that point where you say, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. You've got to hit the wall. But as long as you're on YouTube and you're monetizing your hurt and you're making money, you're going to keep on with this until something happens. And it's sad because you don't have to go this way. You don't have to do this, but you're determined to do this. And if you're doing it as a middle finger to the haters, to the people that are saying, you shouldn't be eating this way, you shouldn't be living this way. If there's a sense of stupid rebellion going on here, where you're more concerned about what other people have to say versus taking care of yourself, you got your focus in the wrong place. Hurting yourself just to spite other people, it makes no sense.
But I mean, I wake up, I pray with my husband.
How can that happen if he doesn't live there?
You know, I just enjoy life more.
Yeah, it really looks like you're enjoying life right now. Let me tell you, that ain't enjoying life. It just isn't. You're not even enjoying the food anymore. There's no joy on your face anymore when you eat. Stop lying.
We don't drink or smoke. And now I'm in a supportive, loving relationship.
If you really care about Salah, if you really enjoy Salah, why do this? I have questions. I've got lots of questions, y'all. If you are an older woman involved with a younger man and you really, really care about him, you really, really want to spend time with Salah, why wouldn't that motivate you to get healthy so you can do more with him? Because you got to know that he, as a young man, he wants to go out. He wants to do things. He wants to be active. He wants to enjoy those younger years. And you got to know, because you're a little bit older, because you've got limited mobility, he can't enjoy things the way he could because he's around you. Whenever you go somewhere, because you are out of breath so much, it's like dealing with somebody who's a wet blanket. You got to carry it around all the time. If you love Salah, and I don't think what you have with Salah is true love. I think it's more of an obsession. You're obsessed with the idea of Salah, having him there, having him bring you things. I think you've got the words need and love mixed up. You don't love him, you need him. And there's a difference, Foodie, between love and need. Love is by choice. When two people love each other, they are with each other because they enjoy each other's company, because there's a connection. They enjoy their rapport. But at any time, they can walk away from each other. You don't want that. You want to be with people that you can control in one form or another. You want them dependent on you, because that's the only way you know to keep somebody with you is to control them. And the only thing that you have to control people is your paycheck. You find people, men, that are in need of money, and you set things up to where you pay them. And for that, they need you. And in your mind, that translates to they love me. Well, if they loved you, they would support themselves. They would take care of themselves. And if they were with you, you would know they were with you by choice, rather than they are dependent on you for money. But you take what you can get. And you said long ago about Nader, all he has to do is fake love me and I would give him the world. Well, you found a guy that fake loves you. And as long as he's nice to you on camera, that's all you care about. But off camera, he's barely there. And that's what's leading to all this loneliness and misery and overeating. So trying to come on camera and say that, oh, he loves me so much. If that were true, you wouldn't be going ham with the food.
And the difference is amazing.
You know, it always amazes me that Foodie has that spirit inside of her. Like she really loves to stick it to the haters, right? She loves those gotcha moments. It amazes me. It's mind-blowing when you think about it that this woman who loves to spite people, she really gets off on spiting people. Why she doesn't take that spirit of spite that she has living inside of her, that fire to spite people, and turn it inside out and say, you know what? I'm really going to spite the haters. I'm really going to do it. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to get control of this eating problem, and I'm going to really improve my life. That'll show them. Why can't she take this spite in that direction? Why not? Because it involves work. That's why. It involves true commitment, true passion. She doesn't have it. She doesn't want it. It's there. It's in her hand. She just doesn't want to take it, grab it, do something with it. But if she really wanted to stick it to all of us strangers on the internet, she could go in that direction. She could. But then she'd have to work for what she wanted rather than have it handed to her. Take that spitefulness, Foodie, and do something positive with it.
I apologize for the state of my hijab. So yeah. I just found that when I was comparing, I do that often actually, but I just feel so much more at peace with a lot of things now.
I don't think it's peace that you're feeling. I think it's just more of a sense of just accepting defeat. You're not at peace. You're accepting defeat. You've given up. You're saying, I quit. I've quit making my life better. I have quit making myself healthier. Not that I ever truly tried, but you've just given in, Foodie. You've given up.
Experiencing a very different culture and way of life here in Kuwait. I think I made too much rice, as per usual.
You think so?
I love this stuff, but it's spicy.
So I recognize something. You know that long inhale, exhale that she just did? You do that when you're full, but yet she continues to keep eating.
I think I'm full, but then it's too delicious to stop eating.
Right. That's her food problem kicking in. Because even when you're full, you continue until you absolutely cannot go on anymore. That's why you need help, food. That's why you need therapy. You need to stop this. I mean, there's a part of me that I wish that I could just walk into the room, take that plate of rice and dump it in the trash. She doesn't need that.
That ever happened to you? I love rice.
You love carbs. Rice, bread. You love carbs, foodie. You love carbs. That's what it boils down to. You love the carbs. And like I said, it's just all this ridiculous eating. It's not even translating to lots of profit. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw Playboard. Like, she's doing this for what? Doing this for what? She can't even justify it by saying, I'm making lots of money. I'm pulling in $20,000 a month this month off of YouTube. She can't even justify it through saying it's because I'm making lots of money. She's barely making anything. All of this for what, foodie? You're doing more harm than good, much more.
Ooh. Well, that was delicious. So, here I am.
You know, foodie, despite all the things that you've done recently, just trying to get the views up, trying to get the money back up, making up all the different sock accounts to give yourself fake, phony engagement, making fake arguments with yourself, all the different channels, all the different communities that you tried to infiltrate, trying to dip your fingers into the ASMR community, the ambiance community, trying to tap back into the feeders and the mukbang community. Despite all this stuff, the money's still going down. You even did open chat. You're doing open chats now, just trying to get more viewers, trying to get extra money. We saw on Playboard, it's not working. The old tactics are not working. Talking about the same topics over and over, not working. Eating massive amounts of food, not working. Since your time of doing mukbangs, there are other people doing mukbangs and doing them well. You're not doing so well. You're not doing well financially. You're not doing well physically. You're not even doing well emotionally or mentally. Time to reevaluate things, don't you think? The past is the past. We are now in the present. The world has changed. A lot of people are food insecure now because of the vid, because of losing their jobs, losing their homes, being evicted from their homes. And because the world has changed, because there's more of a struggle out there, people are looking at you through different eyes than they once did. If there are people like getting on YouTube and they're going through their struggles, watching someone like you eating massive amounts of food when you don't have to, when you shouldn't, imagine how they feel. Imagine their point of view. That this is not appealing at all. Seeing an addict openly do one of their addictions on camera, hurting themselves, it's not appealing. It just isn't. You need to full stop this crap. You really do. But it's up to you. It's always up to you. It's your choice. You're in the driver's seat. You have control. So either you can get in control or stay out of control. And God help you if you have a medical emergency. It may not turn out well. So that's it for this react, y'all. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and please have a good day. Bye-bye.